So let's offer our Mangalachan and then we begin. Om Agyana Timirandhasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalan Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Anvitamscha नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबान्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी ऋषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय हरे कृष्ण. So welcome to our systematic study of Vedic scriptures. In that we are in the chapter 11. I think today we will conclude it. And yeah, let's begin. Yeah, someone would like to read, or shall I pick one? Maybe if Chitramali Mataji is there, or
Yes, Prabhuji.
okay, would you like to read then?
Yeah. नाहं वेदेन तपस्या तापसा नादानेन न चेयया साख्य एवं विधो द्रष्टुं दृष्टवान् असि मां यथा. Translation: the form you are seeing with your transcendental eyes cannot be understood simply by studying the Vedas, nor by undergoing serious penances, nor by charity, nor by worship. It is not by these means that one can see me as I am. Purport: Krishna first appeared before his parents Devaki and Vasudeva in a four-handed form, and then he transformed himself into the two-handed form. This mystery is very difficult to understand for those who are atheists or who are devoid of devotional service. For scholars who have simply studied Vedic literature by way of grammatical knowledge or mere academic qualifications, Krishna is not possible to understand, nor is he to be understood by persons who officially go to the temple to offer worship. They make their visit, but they cannot understand Krishna as he is. Krishna can be understood only through the path of devotional service. as explained by Krishna himself in the next verse.
Yep. Would you like to read the next verse, or maybe someone else can read the next verse, please?
I can
Thank
read,
you.
Prabhuji.
Let's see. I mean, we are reading only few verses today, so if someone
Okay.
else would like to read, Rishabh Prabhu. I think I've seen him. He was joining. Yeah, Rishabh Prabhu, you're on mute, or otherwise, yeah. Shantanu Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Bhuj.
Yes.
Uh,
Would you like to read this?
Bhaktya tva ananya sakhya aham evam vidho Arjuna ज्ञानातुम दृष्टुम च
Gnatum.
तत्वेन
Gnatum.
ज्ञानातुम
No. Gnatum.
ज्ञातुम द्रष्टुम च तत्वेन प्रवेष्टुम च परन्तप. So translation, my dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am standing before you, and can thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. Purport: Krishna can be understood only by the process of undivided devotional service. He explicitly explains this in this verse so that unauthorized commentators who try to understand Bhagavad Gita by the speculative process will know that they are simply wasting their time. No one can understand Krishna or how he came from parents in a four-handed form and at once changed himself into a two-handed form. These things are very difficult to understand by study of the Vedas or by philosophical speculation. Therefore, it is clearly stated here that no one can see him or enter into understanding of these matters. Those who, however, are very experienced students of Vedic literature can learn about him from the Vedic literature in so many ways. There are so many rules and regulations, and if one at all wants to understand Krishna, he must follow the regulative principles described in the authoritative literature. One can perform penance in accordance with those principles. For example, to understand serious penances, one may
Undergo.
observe, one may
To undergo. Huh?
to undergo serious penances, one may observe fasting on Janmashtami, the day on which Krishna appeared, and on the 2 days of Ekadashi, the 11th day after the new moon, and the 11th day after the full moon. As far as charity is concerned, it is plain that charity should be given to the devotees of Krishna who are engaged in his devotional service to spread the Krishna philosophy or Krishna consciousness throughout the world. Krishna consciousness is a benediction to humanity. Lord Chaitanya was appreciated by Rupa Goswami as the most munificent man of charity because love of Krishna, which is very difficult to achieve, was distributed freely by him. So if one gives some amount of his money to persons involved in distributing Krishna consciousness, that charity given to spread Krishna consciousness is the greatest charity in the world. And if one worships as prescribed in the temples in India, there is always some statue, usually of Krishna or Krishna. That is a chance to progress by offering worship and respect to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For the beginners in the devotional service to the Lord, temple worship is essential, and this is confirmed in the Vedic literature, Setashvara Upanishad. Yasya deva para bhaktir yatha devo tatha guru Tasyete Kathatita Hi Artha Prakashante Mahatmana. So one who has unflinching devotion for the Supreme Lord and is directed by the spiritual master, in whom he has familiar, unflinching faith, can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead by revelation. One cannot understand Krishna by mental speculation. For one who does not take personal training under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, it is impossible to even begin to understand Krishna. The word tu is specifically used here to indicate that no other process can be used, can be recommended, or can be successful in understanding Krishna. The personal forms of Krishna, the 200 form and the 400 form, are described as Sudur Darsham, very difficult to see. They are completely different from the temporary universal form shown to Arjuna, the 400 form of Narayana, and the 200 form of Krishna are eternal and transcendental, whereas the universal form exhibited to Arjuna is temporary. The words Tvad Anenya na Drashta Purvam, verse 47, state that before Arjuna, no one had seen that universal form. Also, they suggest that amongst the devotees, there was no necessity of showing it. That form was exhibited by Krishna at the request of Arjuna, so that in the future, when one represents himself as an incarnation of God, people can ask to see his universal form. The word na, used repeatedly in the previous verse, indicates that one should not be very much proud of such credentials. As an academic education in Vedic literature, one must take to the devotional service of Krishna. Only then one attempt to write commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. Krishna changes from the universal form to the 400 form of Narayana, and then to his own natural form of two hands. This indicates that the 400 forms and other forms mentioned in Vedic literature are all emanations of the original 200 Krishna. He is the origin of all emanations. Krishna is distinct even from these forms, what to speak of the impersonal conception. As far as the 400 forms of the Krishna are concerned, it is stated clearly that even the most identical 400 form of Krishna, which is known as Mahavishnu, who is lying on the cosmic ocean and from whose breathing so many innumerable universes are passing out and entering, is also an expansion of the Supreme Lord. As stated in the Brahma Samhita 5.48, Yasseika Nisvasita Kalam Atha Valambhya Jivanti Loma Vilaya Jagat Andanatha Vishnur Mahan Sa Itha Yasya Kala Viseso Govindam Adi Purusham Tam Aham Bhajami. The Mahavishnu, into whom all the innumerable universes enter and from whom they come forth, again simply by his breathing process, is a plenary expansion of Krishna. Therefore, I worship Govinda, Krishna, the cause of all causes. Therefore, one should conclusively worship the personal form of Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead, who has eternal bliss and knowledge. He is the source of all forms of Vishnu. He is the source of all forms of incarnation, and he is the original supreme personality as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. In the Vedic literature, Gopal Tapani Upanishad, the following statement appears. Satchit Ananda Rupaya Krishnayak Lista Karine Namo Vedanta Vedaya Guruve Buddhi Sakshine. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Krishna, who has a transcendental form of bliss, eternity, and knowledge. I offer my respect to him because understanding him means understanding the Vedas, and he is therefore the supreme spiritual master. Then it is said, Krishna vai paramam devatam. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Gopala Tapani Upanishad. You went fast, I think. Uh, yeah. Yes. So here. Eko Vashi Sarvagaha Krishna Idya. That one Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and he is worshipable. Eko Umpi San Bahudya Yo Vibhati. Krishna is one, but he is manifested in unlimited forms and expanded incarnations. Gopal Tapani Upanishad 1.21. The Brahma Samhita 5.1 says, Ishvara Paramaha Krishna Satchit Ananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Krishna, who has a body of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. He has no beginning, for he is the beginning of everything. He is the cause of all causes. Elsewhere it is said, Yatra Vatirnam Krishnakhyam Param Brahma Narakriti. The Supreme Absolute Truth is a person. His name is Krishna, and he sometimes descends on this earth. Similarly, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we find a description of all kinds of incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in this list, the name of Krishna also appears. But then it is said that this Krishna is not an incarnation of God, but it is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. Ete chamsa kala pumsa Krishnas tu Bhagavan Swayam. Similarly, in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Mata Parataram Nayat. There is nothing superior to my form as the personality of Godhead Krishna. He also says elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita, Aham Adir Hi Devanam. I am the origin of all the demigods. And after understanding Bhagavad Gita from Krishna, Arjuna also confirms this in the following words. Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. I now fully understand that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, and that you are the refuge of everything. Therefore, the universal form of Krishna shown to Arjuna is not the original form of God. The original is the Krishna form. The universal form, with its thousands and thousands of heads and hands, is manifest just to draw the attention of those who have no love for God. It is not God's original form. The universal form is not attractive for pure devotees who are in love with the Lord in different transcendental relationships. The Supreme Godhead exchanges transcendental love in his original form of Krishna. Therefore, to Arjuna, who was so intimately related with Krishna in friendship, this form of universal manifestation was not pleasing. Rather, it was fearful. Arjuna, who was a constant companion of Krishna's, must have had transcendental eyes. He was not an ordinary person. Therefore, he was not captivated by the universal form. This form may seem wonderful to persons who are involved in elevating themselves by fruitive activities, but to persons who are engaged in devotional service, the two-handed form of Krishna is the most dear. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Shantanu Prabhu. It was a very lengthy purport, but I think you may have already got the whole essence of Bhagavad Gita, right, in this verse. So, what all were you able to make a note in this long purport?
Yeah, be devoted to Krishna. So that's
Very
that's
nice. And what does it mean? Undivided devotional service. Yeah, so this is what we see here. Before we go to the other verse, which is kind of concluding the chapter. By the way, the words that you have spoken or read is emphasizing the best of all activities, practices is undivided bhakti yoga. So, yeah, when Chitramali Mataji was reading this, Naham Vedayatna Tapasa. So, how the form you are seeing is cannot be understood simply by studying Vedas. So, the question is coming, why are we even studying all this? Gita Upanishad is also considered a potent means to understand the Vedas or even the essence. It's also called Veda Upanishad. Um, so, and nor by undergoing severe penances, nor by charity, nor by worship. So I think we would have come across in our childhood so many practices that something we voluntarily uh, embrace them because okay, this is what I think it makes sense, and this is what I can do it. Fasting. Now I'll just would like to ask who have done fasting on their own by their own interest. You can raise your hands without anyone pushing. You yourself felt, oh, I should fast. No one. That's surprising. hmm Okay. Then what about the other one, which is penances? Now we talk about penances. I think we think penance is something is very very unusual activity of this age. So even if someone wanted to do penance, their near and dear, the family and relatives would say what age you are. So penances are not there. We don't see that much unless we really are going so far away from this world where people are not to be found. Maybe there are some Siddha Purushas, or at least people who are practitioners to become Siddhas. We find them. Yeah, I had the fortune when I was in uh, my engineering studies. I used to go to a very remote temple of Lord Shiva, and the fortune is so much because there were no proper roads to go there. Only way was like some muddy roads. One could go by bicycle or walk for an hour or two. And there is wonderful temple. It said self-manifested Lord Shiva's form. I think Kotilingeshwara Swami temple, if I remember correctly. So, and then there is this nice water that's doing a naturally abhishek, and then this waterfalls. Yeah, so just imagine a place where there is very difficult to find food. Yeah, now there are no shops there. In that time itself, there were no shops, and whatever was like, you have to have a very austerious life. And there I saw not only the temple, temple was small, there was also an ashram, and inside the ashram was a priest. Yeah, of course, I don't know if the priest is full time only living there, but um, we at least in the morning and evening for doing the deity worship, he used to be there. We see that is a great uh, amount of penance plus also worship. Mm. But yeah, so that also has become so far out because people say, hey, either you are crazy to 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 not think about your future, because come on, what will happen if you take to that path? Huh? If you take to that path, what will happen? You have to live a life of austerities, which will come in any form which no one knows, and the world is totally absorbed in anxiety, in fear and doubt, uh, in great level of confusion, ignorance, in whatever form we see, is all about. We are thinking about tomorrow. We are thinking about tomorrow so much and so much. We don't know what is that tomorrow, but we always are thinking about our tomorrow very desperately. We are having our plans. We think that villages are okay. If the Lord showers rain, then there is a chance of eating. Otherwise, we will fast and die. So let's move to towns and villages where the facilities are higher. These facilities are higher, but nothing comes for free. We lose that quality of life, that quality of air. Literally, even the air that we breathe is of not of high quality. We can see clouds in the villages, which are the real clouds. But if we are in the city, the clouds it themselves may be because of some smoky clouds because of heavy traffic. Anyway, that is still not the topic of the day. Hmm. So here we understand that we have become so much abnormal, that we think the normal to be abnormal. This is what is happening, and so in that, what is happening is because of that abnormality that we are living. So we are also heavily going through this problem of not identifying ourselves properly, recognizing others properly, and then we have even bigger calamity that we are not even appreciating the Lord properly. Who is He? Lot of questions. Is He the sun? Is He the moon? Is He the water? Is He the rain? Is He the nature? Is He? What is He? And when we open the books, we see so much. And with the books, yeah, Krishna is saying, hey, you can't know me through the books. You able to still see the screen? Please let me know.
Yes, Prabhuji.
That we go through the purport. Yeah. So we see that in this verse, there is this mentioned about the speculative process to understand the Lord is waste of time. Can we, if we just try to understand that Krishna, who is appeared as a 400 form, has taken a 200 form. Oh, mm, yesterday I was hearing to a devotee who asked the question. What did he ask? He asked a question to Jayadvaita Maharaj that Maharaj, see, in the prison hall, when Vasudeva and Devaki were there, they had this 400 form, isn't it? They saw the Lord who is 400 form. Maybe if Lord would have come in 200 form, maybe we wouldn't have been so serious that hey, he is God. But in spite of Lord appearing in his Vishnu Murti, in the Vishnu form, still Devaki prayed, now uh, please take the two-hand form. And why was she so much scared? Yeah, as I was mentioning, hey, we are talking about tomorrow's fear. Our fear for tomorrow is for ourselves, but Devaki's fear was about Krishna, because she was so much absorbed in the atrocities and the consequences that his brother Kansa has done. His brother has killed mm, her infant babies very cruelly, very brutally. So she was, yeah, even if you are Lord, I'm still scared. This, uh, and the question was, why? Okay, if one is not a devotee, or if one is has not seen the Lord, he may have this fear that okay, uh, because we think so much about ourselves or so much about our surroundings, about people who are bad around us. But here, Devaki saw Krishna, in the 400 form Vishnu, and still she said, take the form in 200 form. Then Maharaj explained, it is the it's so interesting that it is just like how Kamsa was scared by the power of the Lord. It is still the same power of the Lord. As soon as when this Akashvani came, that the celestial beings were speaking in the sky loudly that everyone could hear, Kamsa heard. And then when he knows that the Lord is going to appear, what chance do I have to win against these odds? Hmm? If we see in the case of Parikshit Maharaj, when he came to know that a curse is there which can take him away in 7 days, he accepted a true path of becoming obedient listener, of or receptor of Bhagavatam. But whereas here we see Kamsa, the same fear what made him is he is thinking so much about Krishna that literally day and night, this is also said why Kamsa attained a higher position after Krishna killed is because he was also totally absorbed in remembering Krishna out of fear or envy. No, I think out of fear. One of these two. I have to see. But so much of fear he had, so he was trying all these things. In the same way, uh, just like how Kamsa is so much worried by the potency of the Lord, uh, and here Devaki is also so much concerned by the potency of the Lord. Yeah, what potency? She's seeing the true potency, Lord's potency that He is having this wonderful form. But she is also scared or worried or feared about that potency. She said, "No, no, no, become normal, like a 200 form, so that." Uh, so we see the same, and Maharaj was saying the same yoga maya is employing for one to think in that way, one to think in this way. Mm. Long story short, why I brought this up is this mystery is very difficult to understand for those who are atheists or who are devoid of devotional service. So to understand this, why is this happened? Yeah, why can't, yeah, we see Lord has appeared as Narsimha, huh? Very unique feature, huh? And if we see Lord has appeared Matsya, Kurma, in different features which are very unique that I can think of. Okay, uh, have anyone seen a talking uh, lion? No. Then this lion can be special. Definitely. Have you seen that a small fish can expand such a huge that finally this fish had to be brought into the ocean? So that means that this fish is definitely the Lord. But here already Devaki already saw this 400 form, and then from a very special darshan, she's asking to become a normal. What is this? Isn't it hard to understand? Yeah. So this mystery is very difficult to understand for those who are atheists or who are devoid of devotional service. If we do not have devotional service, which means what is having devotional service means I will have hundreds and thousands of questions, but still that doesn't move me from my service to the Lord. Why? Because I am devoted in my service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is what is devotional service. So if we are not having this devotional service, we cannot understand, or just because we have started reading Bhagavad Gita in a systematic study of Vedic scriptures, now we know a lot. Even that will not give us entry to understand this great features. And now when we talk about learning the Sanskrit, here it's also said, for scholars who have simply studied Vedic literature by way of grammatical knowledge or mere academic qualifications, Krishna is not possible to understand. nor is he to be understood by persons who officially go to temple to offer worship. Oh my God. Hmm? Krishna is saying, nor is he to be understood by persons who officially go to temple to offer. So come on, then we see that, right? So how many? I mean, I hope everyone will raise your hands. How many of us have gone to temples to worship? Hmm? I'd love to see your hands in a video form, but otherwise, at least ring the bell like that, ring the hand. How many of you have gone to temple to worship the Lord? Hmm. That's a check, na? How active are we? No, not for checking. To see, like, we go to temple. This is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Sparanam, Archanam. Yeah, Archanam. We want to do Archanam. That's why we are going to the temple. But Krishna is saying, one who officially goes to temple, hmm, even they cannot. They cannot. They cannot be. They cannot know Krishna. Krishna is not possible to understood even for them. Officially, you go to worship and offer. Go to temple and offer worship. Hmm. They they make their visit, but they cannot understand Krishna as he is. Krishna can be understood only through the path of devotional service, as explained by Krishna himself in the next verse that we will read. But before that, this question one is over. Thanks for raising your hands. If you can continue to raise your hands, my next question follows. Just let to be little to be active. Hmm? How many of us have gone to the temple? Same question. Raise your hands. Yeah, even if we visited very seldom, but I think all of us will raise. But then the next question is, how many of us have gone to offer active worship to the temple, to the temple deity, to the deity or to the devotees? Now you can keep your hands up. Hmm. Of course, now we may know, but we may do. But yeah, we used to go to temple because we see that it's something special than outside world. There is always some katha is going or some puja is going on. We buy some bhog. Mm. We buy some flowers, but we don't know why we do all this. Yeah, what do you all say? Anyone feel free or mm, would like to share how was the transformation? Of course, now we got little transformation, but how did we feel before going to temples during our maybe youth, school days, or even afterwards?
We were doing it as per just religiously. I mean, how our parents used to say,
Hmm.
I mean, family gatherings or
We
going to
have to
temple.
be careful now when we are using this word religiously here, because this same word can mean two things here. One is religion, we are following religion, huh? But then there is another meaning of religiously means to just follow what our parents are saying without thinking left and right. That is also religiously following. So now which religiously were you telling?
Yeah, we were following whatever our parents have
Yeah.
yeah
So
claimed.
which is religiously following, whether it is religion or not, we don't know.
Yeah, true. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hmm. Yeah. Others? What do you say, Omkareshwar Prabhu? Brajavasi? I think you have different experiences, I think.
No, Prabhuji, not much different experiences. Yeah, it's the grandparents and parents. We were following them only, so there was no self realization or something. It was just following the parents and grandparents.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Others? Rishabh Prabhu? Not Sagar Prabhu? Just reflecting our past, especially in the lines of devotion, in the lines of religion. How do we see it?
One thing I want to add, Prabhuji, that like I was really enjoying that. It was not just that they are going and just we are following them because of their instructions, but it was giving also pleasure. It was very like also enthusiastic from our side that okay, we have to go. Every Tuesday we have to do the prasadam to Hanumanji, and on Saturday also in our temple we have to make the prasad. So we were always competition in our brothers and cousin brothers that who will do the prasadam on Tuesday, who will go buy the prasadam and offer and make prasadam something. So it was also, and there was a Hare Krishna Mahamantra Kirtan every evening after the Arati, and I was the one who never wanted to miss that Hare Krishna Kirtan, because the cowherd boys in our village who were the whole day they were in the field with the cows, and also with cows and calves, and in the evening they were coming back, they were completely tired, and still they were doing such wonderful kirtan in the evening. And with the dholak, there was no mridanga, it was a dholak and harmonium, and I never wanted to miss it. So
Yeah.
there was some bliss was there, which was sending me every day to the temple in childhood.
Yeah. Very nice. Yes. Yeah. So which means childhood also you are already actively doing worship, right? It's not just, I mean, DT, I mean, devotional service also you were doing. Yeah.
Yes, you can say Prabhuji like this, and like offering bhoga to our deities at our the pictures of devotees at pictures of Lord at home, also, and like parental what
Yeah.
parents were doing we were following, and this
Yeah.
and I still realize, Prabhuji, this thing is very good, because this Hare Krishna Mahamantra Kirtan, which we were doing in the childhood, we were not knowing the importance of this Mahamantra, because now we know from a lot of discourses, senior Vaishnavas, Maharaj, Swami, Prabhupada, they are telling the importance of Mahamantra. But in the childhood, when 5 years old, 4 years old, we were not knowing. I was just going with my Dadaji together by holding his finger, his hand, and just it was a kirtan, just spontaneous, and it was giving so much of joy not to miss it. And these boys who were doing the kirtan, they were not educated, they were even not going to school. Like I remember these few of them, these cowherd boys, they were just doing the field work, just in the agriculture, and they were never going to school. And in the evening they were doing the kirtan, and I was just following them and sitting with them. So
So
it's
nice.
and now we know what we were doing actually, because now we know the meaning of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, or at least trying to know the meaning and understanding its effect.
Value.
But that time it was just kirtan, like some transcendental words.
Yeah. 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 Nice. Very nice. Yeah. Sagar Prabhu, you were saying.
Yeah, sorry, Prabhuji. In my case, it was a bit completely different. We were simply forced to sit for
Yeah.
all the festivals, and likingly or unlikingly, we simply sat. Um, so it was a different scenario in our case.
Yeah.
So
I think we were enjoying this, right? So the feasts that were happening on the festivals. Yeah. Nice. Um, and I used to, yeah, when I used to go to this free Annadan, yeah, Annadan, especially in the temples, yeah. They are very, very nice. Of course, we have to stand a little long, but I used to go, yeah, very nice, peaceful, calm environment. Of course, not all temples were, yeah, because the more people come, um, either for their own personal goals to be achieved, it could be simple as exams, because the whole India is shaking by the throat cut competition even our days. And mm, if we go and go to the exam, we know how bad we will be. So we were just hoping that okay, maybe some divine potency, some prayers can save us to get little more ahead. And I mean, I know here there are so many sincere students here. Ratikeli Siddhi Mataji, uh, uh, and yeah, we see Gaur Bhagwan Prabhu. They are very studious, but we used to think, okay, this is one way to go to temple is to do the fasting on so and so Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, whichever day, to please so and so God, and so that the God will take care of my exams, my marks. Yeah, so many understandings that we picked up while we were introduced to bhakti, isn't it? Yeah, it is still the bhakti, but this bhakti was having sakama, and whatever activities that we were doing, um, we in a way enjoyed because it has nothing to do with the school or college, nothing to do with the responsibilities. Yeah, at least, yeah, Omkareshwar, I used to enjoy because of that as one of the reasons, because no pressure of someone is asking, hey, please, you should by next week remember whole Hanuman Chalisa and come, and no such rules and regulations. It was free spirit. Yeah, you know this free spirit science. Hmm? Then this is also like free spirit. Yeah, uh, worship. Whatever I can do, I will do. Whatever I like, I will do. So in that way, yeah, somehow we spent it. Hmm. So yeah, thank you everyone for sharing. Someone would like to share further? I don't know. How was it for Apu Prabhu? How was your days of hmm, visiting temples and all devotion as such?
Sorry, Guruji, I missed the content. Could you
Hmm,
repeat it again?
yeah, the question is that here he says that Prabhupada is in the purport writing that yeah, even if one goes officially to temples, yeah, nor is he to be understood. Lord cannot be understood by person who officially go to temples to offer worship. Yeah. So in this context, we are just seeing how was our days. Um, did we really pick up devotional service when we went to temples? Initial days, initial years, initial stages of our devotional life. That is the question.
In our side, Guruji, in Bangladesh, normally one thing is good. I mean, some people doesn't know, but they do customly. Is that
Mm,
whenever they go to the temple, they always ask for the person.
mm,
But now we know that okay, prasad means only when it is Vishnu offered to Vishnu, that only comes to as a prasad, not like other demigods, not exactly.
mhm.
But it is a custom in Bangladesh. Wherever you go, normally they distribute prasad, and they always ask for prasad.
Yeah. So was that one of the motivation to go to temples for you in those days?
For me, it was not like that actually.
Yeah, otherwise you would have been fat like me, huh?
No, in other side too, they give prasad means just little,
Yeah.
just maybe one piece of banana, something like that.
We used to go
Um,
in again and again in the line. We know that the quantity is very less, so we go multiple times in the same line.
no.
Anyway,
But in
yeah.
Bangladesh, one good thing is this: probably wherever you'll go, normally Hare Krishna chanting is there. So
Okay.
in our side, Kirtan means Hare Krishna mantra.
Hmm.
So whichever temple you go, doesn't matter.
Okay.
So for me, normally we used to visit temple for the to take blessings and to take the advantage of the spiritual environment.
Hmm.
Normally, this is the things normally I used to do. But normally, I used to visit for different purpose. I used to visit a temple. Normally, I used to visit mainly because just beside of my house there is actually one hill, and
Hmm.
in that hill there is one temple is there. We call Jodhpur Ashram. So it's a, like a hilly place,
Hmm.
and you have to climb very high actually for that temple. And whenever I used to go there, it is very calm, nice, and it's like a quite good spiritual environment.
Hmm.
And whenever I used to come to the town, city, I used to go to the temple for two purposes. First of all, the chaos and everything I used to don't like. And second of all, this is more of a, like, for me is to feel like home, actually, the temple environment. For that purpose, I used to visit in the city area, the temples.
Nice. Yeah. Very nice. Dinath Prabhu, this can be a topic, huh?
Prabhuji,
Yeah.
yeah, I was just jotting down some points yesterday, but I will share with you later.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, I had a different experience when I was in 12th standard. I mean, going to temples, why we have to worship God. During 12th, I was preparing for my IIT entrance examinations, and there was a lot of expectations
On you or for you?
on me. Even I expected myself that, okay, I will pass IIT with flying colors. And then the exam really jolted me, and I couldn't cross the cutoff by, I think, few marks. And I failed. So I was naturally very depressed, came home, and but then my mom told one thing, okay, let's go and do some service tomorrow there was a Shiva temple close to my home. She told me, just go and do some Annadan service. I mean, there was no motivation. There is no something called, okay, let's do some prayers, expectation from God. So they took me. I just did the service there. So during when I was doing the service, I was also not praying God that, okay, give me some, okay, IIT is gone, so what next? I was not praying. I was involved in that service because that was the first time I had to serve a lot of, there were some people who visited temple, and I was very careful that I should not make any mistake. So I was serving prasadam. But then, since I failed IIT, I wrote some other exams out of not much interest. Then I got into college in Tiruchirappalli, which was called Shastra University. Starts with Shanmuga. So it was the same God where same temple where I did the service. And so, yeah, I mean, we plan a lot of things in life, but God will have His own plan. And Tiruchirappalli is the home of, Srirangam.
Yes.
So, yes, Prabhuji. So through that, maybe these are some lessons which, I remember, throughout my life. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So kind of small nostalgia experience now while this question we put to ourselves.
Yes,
what were we and yeah. Nice. Yeah. Anyone else would like to share? So in our group, we have very, very serious devotees, who had inclination to really to real spirituality. Yeah, of course, the means, I think we came to know more when we took to a strict or a clear path, in ISKCON or in Hare Krishna movement, where we we of course not only in this, I'm just saying through a systematic study, then we start appreciating devotion, the science behind it, the science behind ourselves, and all those things, which really are intentionally or should incline us or influence us to take to devotional service.
Sorry for the interruption. You can actually answer this question later also if you want, but as a sequence topics I want to ask, because I have mentioned that in our side normally used to visit the temple because of the spiritual and means more of like a calmness. But later when we came to the ISKCON, then we understand, okay, what is the significance of the Sankirtan, Kirtan and everything. But in ISKCON, wherever we go, normally all the time Kirtan actually goes on. And I met so many people also who doesn't actually want to come to this ISKCON temple because of that. Because for them it's like a perspective is this temple means it should have to be like a little calm environment where you can sit calmly. Even I met one devotee in Dortmund also, who actually from actually South India he came. He was going with us to the Simhachalam temple. So I mean he didn't connect to the ISKCON. He just searched it. Where is an Eastern temple? He found there. and Nishan Chaudhary he was going, and we just met on the way. So when we are coming back, I asked him that how did he feel? He told that everything is fine except that sound and everything. He told that yes, I know that in ISKCON it is dominant, but he told that it is not the way actually he actually want to be in the temple like that. So I mean, I saw that actually so many people it is actually really one topic that why they want to avoid ISKCON temple because of that. So I mean, how to actually talk with that kind of people and how to actually motivate them that okay. So I mean, that is actually one things I want to ask you.
Yeah, very nice. Anyone else also have this experience or question? No? Yeah, then maybe later we can discuss about this, Abu Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, later also is possible. No problem.
Fine. Yeah. I mean, if there are more hands, we could go through that. Otherwise, yeah, we'll discuss later. I have my own experiences also in that direction. But yeah. Okay. So then we go to the next verse. Here we're saying, and this is said that this is the verse which is telling bhakti is the topmost. And why? Because Krishna is saying only by bhakti I am one can realize me. How? He's giving all these examples, all the examples. Yeah, bhaktyatva. Bhaktyatva ananya. Ananya bhakti means undivided or undeviated. And what is possible? Aham evam vido Arjuna. I am to be known only by devotion. And here it says, if we want to understand the Lord, which we, at least in our early days of our life, we may not have thought so much seriously. Why is this? Why? Who am I? And why is this everything happening around me? Who is the Lord? And we were not so much keen. But even we had some taste. The right process is to follow that undivided devotional service, standing before you, and can thus be seen directly. Only in this way. Here is saying, that's why he said, this is the verse of Bhagavad Gita, which is telling only bhakti. Only with bhakti one can, in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. Otherwise, there is no chance. And these are all different references that are used here. Yeah, that speculative process, it's simply waste of time. Understanding Krishna, what is difficult to understand? That he came from parents. Yeah, this we discussed in the previous verse. As a continuation, he says that itself is so difficult. Because it is difficult, we cannot deny the truth. The truth is still there. The truth is still there. So we cannot deny it. But how to accept it? If we just accept it, isn't it not a blind faith? Is it not that simply a blind faith? Adirasa Prabhu? Without understanding, accepting something?
Yes, Saroji.
And yeah, if we accept as a blind faith, and are we not fool? And do we want to be in the fool stage? No, we don't want to be. We have very strong conviction that we are not foolish, but just accepting without understanding is blind faith. How to understand? That understanding also comes only through devotional service. But what are the ways that we are taking up? So many ways that we are using here is study of Vedas or philosophical speculations make it so complicated. Uh, when we don't understand the Vedas, then we start interpreting it. When we misinterpret it, then we have to go through circles of learning erasing, learning, just like we see kids, right? I see Vibhav that when he is writing something, if he makes a mistake, he simply rubs again, writes again, rubs again, writes again. The same thing, how rubbing on a paper is so easy, but rubbing from the memory sheets that we have, it's not so easy. So when we take the path, I think when we learn this, we should be taking the right way of learning. Otherwise, we will just waste our time. Why? We cannot understand Krishna by mental speculation, uh, and we must take personal training under the guidance of Bonaward spiritual master. Otherwise, that becomes very difficult. Just imagine, you and me, we are going in the forest, and I'm telling, let's take a left. After going somewhere, I'm saying, okay, let's take a right. And after some, I'm saying, okay, let's take again a right. And then again a right. And then we say, hey, I think we have started at the same place. Then I'll keep my both hands on my head and say, oh, yes, I guessed it like this, but it didn't come correctly. Let's try again. Then you will just think, what a foolish person I am with. So we should approach a bona fide spiritual master who knows in and out of the forest, how to enter the forest, and where we are stuck, how he can guide us. And he is, if we see the Ramanujacharya's, we see that the Lord appeared and guided him. Yeah, you just go this way. It's Ramanujacharya, right? Apu Prabhu, in that book, it's mentioned that when he escaped from his guru who wanted to kill him,
Yes, Prabhuji.
and then he came into the forest, and then he was going all directions, and then it was pitch dark night, and then was it Lakshmi Devi or Vishnu? One of them, they appeared, and then they showed the direction, and then he came back to his village.
As far as I remember, it is Shiva and Parvati.
Shiva and Parvati, right? Yes,
Mm.
correct. Yes. Yeah, I too remember that, but yeah, thanks for coming. So that, and then until that time, they were already thinking, hey, he's already dead. But yeah, so anyway, so the point here is that unless we have a bona fide spiritual master, the path, is it here? It's mentioned, Durgame Patimendasya Stalak. Let me see the verse quickly. Yeah, I want to. Yeah. So, दुर्गमे पतिमेन्दस्य स्खलत् पादगतेर्मुहुः स्वकृपा यस्ति दानेन शन्तसन्त्व avalambanam. This meaning is, my path is very difficult, I am blind, and my feet are slipping again and again. Therefore, may the saints help me by granting me the stick of that their mercy as my support. Until then, we keep slipping, slipping and slipping. Yeah. So here we understand, that how important it is that a spiritual master or a guide should be. Otherwise, it's impossible to even begin to understand Krishna. Because in this verse, it is mentioned, where is it? Tva, but nothing else but devotional service. That is the only way. Yeah. No other process can be used or recommended or can be successful in understanding Krishna. Who can learn about him? Experienced students of Vedic literature can learn about him in so many ways. This is what is coming here, the speculative process, rules and regulations. And here is mentioned about, am I in the right verse? Yeah, correct. So here, so many rules and regulations one can learn, or performing penances. Yeah. So of course the process is same, but because we don't know the authenticity of any process, whatever we take will not lead us to Rome, right? Not, is it the line, right? In all the roads lead to Rome, or what was that? I don't know. I don't remember. But that's not so easy, right? Not all are efficient or effective. Yeah, some may go roundabout, lot of detours, everything. So here, when we know that, we should approach a bona fide spiritual master. And then what is the process of learning? So many rules and regulations. And if one at all wants to understand Krishna, he must follow the rules and regulations of authoritative scriptures. There is no other choice we have. Otherwise, we may develop sentiment, we may develop blind faith, and after some time we just, how long could we carry unless some other philosophy will come into ours, and then we think, that is also correct, because there is no proof of it also. When there is no proof, it will, if I have a benefit of doubt, why not I let me try? There are so many such explorer personalities. Yeah. There are four quadrants of personalities, of which explorer is one, where they cannot stay in a job for long if the job is becoming, what do you call, a routine. Yeah, after a month or two, they start, their feet start itching, hands start itching, the brain starts itching, and then they want to explore something. They simply say, hey, this is not so interesting, it's boring, adventurous, I want. So they want to explore. Of course, then there are some other exactly opposite personalities who are control freaks. They cannot live if what they do changes even by one step. Like, if this is 10 rules that have to be followed, these 10 rules have to be absolutely followed with full religion. Religiously follow them as it is. Otherwise, they cannot sleep peacefully. Just like an explorer cannot sleep peacefully if he doesn't explore. This control freaks, they don't care about learning new things. They want that whatever they are doing should be absolutely like that. But anyway, what we as sadhakas, yeah, should do is, there is no other option, but we must understand sadhaka means to follow the sadhana. What is the sadhana? Is a plan, a regime. You know, like how a diet, if you want to lose weight, or if you want to gain weight, or if you want to control or manage our health conditions, we have a plan. Similarly, and then whatever we follow, that is sadhana. Yeah, similarly here we have this rules and regulations of how to understand Krishna. We can't simply, Jai, I don't change my impurities, but I still want to see the Lord. It won't work. Yeah, so one is that, and then here it's mentioned about performing penances. Where is that? One can perform penance in accordance to those principles. What are that? For example, fasting on the festivals, on special occasions. That's why Vaishnava calendar can be our um, hmm, a plan. Again, a sadhana can happen where we are fasting on special days. Why? Because it is said that if we don't self-endeavor such austerities, of course, these austerities, like, no, I want to do that. It shouldn't be over-endeavoring, but one should develop this, that, okay, I am not this body, to understand that such austerities help. And as far as charity is concerned, it is plain that charity should be given, very simple, to devotees. This is what is a very, very debatable topic of any time, right? So people who are in the mode of goodness, but not in in the mode of matured goodness, I wouldn't say Suddha Sattva. Yeah? People who have not yet have a good maturity in the mode of goodness, you will think, hey, come on, society, social, we are part of it, we take care of them, they take care of us, and all these good feelings, yeah, thinking is not charity by giving ourselves to those things, but charity to devotees of Krishna is the topmost charity. We would have heard Netradan is a very great charity. It is so that people can have divine vision. No, they are only getting normal vision. Just like how society recognizes that eye donation is so important, organ donations and all these donations, yeah, donation is to show that, hey, I am not greedy. I'm not doing only for myself. I want so that someone else can benefit. But ultimately, it is only incomplete because unless one gets the divine vision, opportunity to hear the divine vision of the Lord, unless one gets the opportunity to know about the Supreme Lord and ultimate goal, all the charity is of no importance. So one then, so that's why we see, hey, why are they so big temples? Why they are the deities are instead of arranging the sevas to the deities, one can arrange food for so many beggars and for so many orphan houses, so many. Yeah, the person who is challenging this is I don't know whether the person has so much concern for them, but he is so much disturbed by so opulent worship that is going on. Why such opulent worships have to be done when starving is going on? A very genuine reason, but uh, um, yeah. But is the only business is to take care of body and mind? What about the soul? So both should go hand in hand. But how can people be attracted to temples? Yeah? When there is facility, then only they can come and sit. If I just say, hey, there is a very wonderful katha in the Amazon forest, everyone come. Who will come? No one will come. Isn't it? Omkareshwar Prabhu? Amazon forest is so cool, right?
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu, you are right, Prabhuji.
Hmm.
Actually, yes.
Yeah, so we need a space, but then the question comes, hey, okay, space is okay, but why should it be so opulent? Yeah, for some people, if it's not opulent, they think what facilities are there to enjoy? Why should I come there? Maybe you are a very simple devotee. For you, you can sit on the floor. Huh? Just like in a movie theater, right? I have seen the days when in the theater, I mean, not in my during our generation, our previous generation, there is there are different classes of seats, right? The topmost was okay. Forget about that. The cheapest ticket was on the floor, sitting on the floor. Hmm? Sitting on the floor. Yeah, it is the same movie one is watching from the floor. He's sitting on the next class to the balcony to the. I think nowadays it's even different. So many. Yeah. Some people. Yeah. If people didn't want it, why the seats are there? Yeah, because people wanted it to enjoy. Yeah. While they are also seeing. Yeah. It is same, right? The movie change if you are sitting on the floor? No, right? Hmm? Anyway, this also is a nice topic. Yeah, note it down, Dinath Prabhu. We can go
Actually,
on
incidentally, I wrote this topic yesterday
already.
itself, Prabhuji,
Okay.
because this topic of charity will again come in Bhagavad Gita 17th chapter.
Yeah.
Charity performed in mode of ignorance,
Different. Yeah.
darkness. So yeah, this will be one group discussion topic maybe
Mm.
in
Yeah.
our during our Bhagavad Saptah.
Yeah.
I will,
So
yeah,
let me park it so that we use next 10 minutes. I want to wind up because
yeah, yes, Prabhu.
I don't know. Adirasa Prabhu, did Rupa already contact you? No.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes. Okay. Already.
I
Yeah.
need to reply to Mataji.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, today we'll go to temple. So I'll also wind up soon. So performing penances is one thing. We need to know why we are doing penances. Is it only to self-torture us? Uh, Penances are nice, but what kind of penances? Which are authorized by the scriptures. But again, within the authorized scriptures, according to time, place, and circumstances, kalamana patra. Based on that, one has to do it. But how do I do it? By understanding this from the spiritual master, from them to know what should we do. And then there is this about the deity worship as per throughout the world, Krishna and humanity. Yeah, and this is what, yeah, just to conclude. So ultimately, if one is supporting a devotee by charity, there is no benefit that the person is going to get apart from that his service. He get facilities to serve, but who is benefiting in that charity? It is the person who is donating. The person who is donating is benefiting immensely because he is becoming a patra of the grace of the Lord. Why? Because he's saying, hey, he's so serious that he wants that, want to enable others to become uh, devotional. Lord Chaitanya was appreciated by Rupa Goswami as the most munificent man of charity because love of Krishna. Again, this is also, yeah, love of Godhead is not so easily accessible. That is the reason we have so much confusion. Have anyone, at least I mean, I can always refer myself saying that when I was going to temple, I never went to temple for getting love of Godhead. Hmm? I was only going as part of process. I never thought that, hey, there is something love of Godhead. I used to only go because, oh, okay, maybe bhakti, but I don't know what is bhakti. Bhakti means I was singing only activity, devotional service. But bhakti is its matured levels. Yeah, nothing. For me, going to temple was kind of disciplined way of life. Oh, okay, taking austerities. Yes, I by this I can please the Lord. This is my understanding. But here we see that. Uh, Distributing love of Godhead, distributing love of Krishna is considered the topmost, the most priceless thing that we can give to someone. And when we are so compassionate, when we really are so much that we want to change the world, we want to help everyone, the best thing is to give Krishna, love of Godhead, to everyone. So if one gives some amount of his money to persons involving in distributing Krishna consciousness, the charity given to the spreading of Krishna consciousness is the greatest charity in the world. And if one worships as prescribed in the temple of India, there is always some statue, usually of Vishnu. That is a chance to progress by offering worship and respect to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We usually, I think, yeah, we are habituated when we go into a temple, what we do? We forget everything, right? Our focus is only on what? Seeing the deity of the Lord. For that matter, I have seen so many, especially Tirmal, when we go for darshan. There are so many people scolding, yeah, scolding very. It's like another, what is it called? What is this hall called? Parliament, Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. Where all of them gather and they discuss about the welfare of the country. What are these halls called?
Yes, Lok
Uh,
Sabha for Puja, I think.
that itself is the house called. I mean, in Bangalore there is. I know this. It's in Vidhan Sauda, the building. Anyway, so the point is that yeah, I have anyone seen in Tirupati, in Tirumala, yeah, in if you are in the queue, big queue lines, huh? What is everyone's focus? Just push ourselves to go to that point. We push ourselves, push. So much pushing goes on that we reach to that point. And only maybe if we really wanted to be is only in front of the deity, right? Because the Lord should see me. I don't know how many of you have gone to Tirupati. I don't know, or any other temples where there is a little crowd. Yeah, this experience you may have seen, right? So we push, and finally, once we see, and and then there is the guy who is behind us. He will push us out, right? And then after coming out after the darshan, immediately rush. We want to go out, and then we go out. This is because we are pushed by the mode of passion. We have so much passion that passion is bringing us so close to Krishna, but the same passion is also pulling us out. That we cannot have any peace of mind to see the deity, to have the darshan of the Lord. Hmm? But when we understand that bhakti, yeah, means we should come to the platform of mode of goodness, then we come to this point that in the temples in India there is always some statue, usually of Vishnu or Krishna. That is a chance to progress by offering worship and respect to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How many of us are really going to extend our gratitude to the Lord? Oh Lord, because of you, I am living. Only because of you. You are the one who is all Jagatpati. You are the Lord of the universe. These prayers, I think we don't get chance to really offer such wonderful prayers. But I think that is the way how we can progress in offering our worship and respect to the Supreme Lord. For the beginners in the devotional service to the Lord, temple worship is essential, and that is confirmed in Vedic literature. Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tatha guru tasyaita kathita hi artha prakashante mahatmana. Yeah. So here is in one who has unflinching devotional service, mm, top class devotees, is directed by the spiritual master in whom he has similar unflinching faith. So this we have heard, like when Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj was conducting a Pandal program. I think it's in Vrindavan. Yeah. This is what Prabhupada we was sharing that. Uh, when this katha was going on, there are a group of devotees who went to see the temples. Yeah, can someone remember? Is it Mayapur or Vrindavan? I think Vrindavan near Radha Kund. Yeah. So then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was saying, okay, yeah, the deity has to be seen through ears, not through eyes. But until that steadiness comes, that unflinching faith in spiritual master comes. Okay, if one is going to temple, yeah, it still is okay. At least that way they are getting the mercy. They are having the darshan of the Lord. So one cannot understand Krishna by mental speculation. For one who does not take personal training under the guidance of spiritual master, it's impossible to even begin to understand Krishna. That's why the word tu is referred here. All forms, yeah, we see that indicated by Krishna's changing forms from universal form to four-hand form and then two-hand form. Everything is described here, the personal. And the word anyena na drishta purvam states that before Arjuna no one had seen this universal form. Also they suggest that amongst the devotees there was no necessity of showing it. Anyway, so this is all we discussed also, and then further explanation is given about Krishna's position. The word na used repeatedly in the previous verse indicates that one should not be very much proud of such credentials as an academic education in Vedic literature. One must take to devotional service of Krishna. Only then can one attempt to write commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. So this is also telling who whose whose Gitas are authentic. Yeah, again, I am not qualified to speak about such an important topic, but just referring to Prabhupada, I take spirit from there, saying that, yeah, it's not just one can have any Gita to read, because that can lead us to any um, um, destination which may not be the ultimate destination. Yeah, we must get, just like in my office there is a lift. There are actually many lifts. After I park my car, then which is in the basement, there is one lift, and if I take that lift, I can go only to the first floor or to the ground floor, and from there again I have to take a lift to go to my office seat, which is, so it's a two different lifts. It's not like, okay, both lifts are same lifts. I mean, both are lifts, so both will take me same. No, one can only take to one floor, but the other can take me to 13 floors. So we have to be very careful. We can't say that every Gita is same. So it doesn't matter which Gita we read. The conclusions are different. It is still the same Krishna, but one who is coming in the parampara, who is sharing, who have come in the disciplic, not any succession, disciplic succession. It's not okay. Otherwise, we can also see, okay, so and so Bhagavad Gita is there since 200 years, 300 years. That doesn't mean anything. Just because it is there on the planet for so many years doesn't mean anything, because the 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 mm, the postulates that have to be messed up were already messed up. That's why, I mean, it is, again, it's not my words. After Prabhupada, when he went to US, he saw so many versions of Gitas which were not authentic. So again, strength from there, which means there is the truth that there are so many Gitas presenting in different ways. Some emphasize on Kriya Yoga, some emphasize on Karma Yoga, some emphasize on Buddhi Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is the one which is very important. To be presented as it is possible only by the disciplic succession, parampara. Okay, last 2 minutes. We will, yeah. These are references which is telling Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then, yeah, and then from the Bhagavatam, which is the verse which is coming in the first canto, third chapter, I think 26th verse or 23rd, I don't remember. This is this. Yete cham sakala pumsam Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Yeah. So after describing all the incarnations, principal incarnations, this is the final conclusion which is said by Sukadeva Goswami that Ete Chamsa Kala Pumsam Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is the Bhagavan. All are Cha Amsa. Ete Cha Amsa. They all those are expansions from the same. So that's why Krishna is called fountain head. We see that there is a fountain from which the water is emanating, is coming. So Krishna is the fountain head of all the incarnations or expansions. Similarly, in Bhagavad Gita, Lord says, Matta Parataram Nanyat. There is nothing superior to my form as a personality of Godhead Krishna. He also says elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita, Aham Adir Hi Devanam. I am the source or origin of all the demigods. And after understanding Gita from Krishna, Arjuna also confirms this. What is he saying? Parabrahma Parabdama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. So, therefore, the universal form, this is again telling about universal form, yes, is indeed is a material representation, a manifestation of material elements or universe, how the Lord is to be seen, but it is only it's not a real form of the Lord, universal form. It is only how we see that, hey, everything in the material world, how it is related with the Lord. That is what it represents. But a devotee is not so interested in that. The devotee is, therefore, he was not captivated. Krishna is not captivated by the universal form. Yeah. So now, if anyway, again, a workshop question. Do we want to see the universal form or not? Dinath Prabhu question. So this form may seem wonderful to persons who are involved in elevating themselves by fruitive activities, but to persons who are engaged in devotional service, the 200 form of Krishna is the most dear. So it's a pity we couldn't finish the chapter. This is the last, but this itself will, I think this is a summary of the whole Bhagavad Gita. This is the summary of the whole Bhagavad Gita. This verse is the conclusion. I'll just read the translation. We will anyway go through this next week. Oh, next week we are using this 9 to 10 slot for our Bhagavad Sapta. So we will only read this in the next year. So here is saying, Krishna is saying, mat karma krin mat paramo mat bhakta sango sangha varjitaha nirvaira sarva bhuteshu yah sa mam eti pandava. So here is saying that, my dear Arjuna, he who engages in my pure devotional service, in the previous verse, devotional service is glorified. And now he is saying what will happen? Free from all contaminations of fruitive activity and mental speculations, he who works for me, karma also work, karma yoga, who makes me the supreme goal of his life. That is all about the whole Bhagavad Gita is positioned towards this one point. And who is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me. That is a teaser for the next session or when we have it. Thank you so much for bearing me. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Any quick questions or anything quickly anyone want to add? Shantanu Prabhu, how did you find the session of reading as well as going through with us?
Yeah, I think discussion was very interesting. This personal experiences of going to temples. So
yeah.
So the Lord is the supreme attraction. So it's very difficult to explain why one went to temples, but it is definitely He is attracting. Otherwise, we will never go in whatever form. Or
this is very nice when you brought this. This is bringing to the Bhagavatam, where Hiranyakashipu is asking Prahalad, "Hey, why are you doing this?" Huh? So Prahalad is saying, "I'm helpless. I'm just like a magnet. Iron piece is always attracted by the magnet. I am helpless. Yeah, the Lord is attracting me, and that's why I'm doing the Harinam." Yeah, of course, Prahalad is a Mahabhagavat. For him, the attraction is like that.
Yeah.
Nice. Any other points? Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, today's discussion and like purport was really wonderful. As you also mentioned that it's the essence of Bhagavad Gita almost. So it was really very blissful to listen your katha and also this purport of Prabhupada. It's very nice. And lot of things have been cleared. Lot of doubts have been cleared today. Yes, and regarding this topic, which is again and again coming in this, like we cannot understand Lord by study of Vedas and books and mental speculations. This is Prabhuji, this I experienced also in my childhood. As I mentioned, now these cowherd boys, they were never went to school. Never. They don't know how to write, how to read. They were like gwalas, and they were and they were also not doing this Pancharatrika puja vidhi or some deity worship. They were also
only
doing,
kirtan,
and they were just,
they were doing only kirtan.
only kirtan, Prabhuji. They were. So what was I remember this still because it was my childhood, 4-5 years old, and maybe also some that time. And I remember that the aarti was starting 6 o'clock. Then Sankh like conch. There was a Sankh was, and then everybody was collecting because there was no watches with the people at that time. Everyone. So in the evening when Suryast Sankh was played. And then everybody was collecting in the temple, and then they were starting aartis, and by 8 o'clock, I think 7:30, everyone was finished. Then everyone was going home, and these gwalas, they were coming at that time around 8 o'clock. They were coming to the temple, and all the gwalas, and or maybe some are coming maybe earlier and staying back, but mostly they were also coming late. And that was already dark in the village because people were sleeping 8 or 9 o'clock. So these gwalas are coming at that time in the temple, and and everywhere was dark because there was also no light, and light was not coming regularly in the night. So they were doing such a great kirtan, Prabhuji, and they were never learned a kirtan. Now we are giving our children kirtan classes, music classes from top experts. And now that time they have no money, no resources, no business, only cows on fields, and no school, no education. We have only primary school in our village actually, and that too they were not attending seriously. So and their
No
kirtan
time.
was magnanimous, like so nice kirtan. And even in my case, I remember I wanted to do it every day. Even the children of my age and mostly parents and grastas were going home because they have to sleep
Kids used to stay.
timely. But I was so attracted with that kirtan that I wanted to stay back, and my parents were saying, no, it's too late for you, your child, come home. But then in the night when the kirtan was finished, it was so scary in the streets of the village. Going home alone. And but these boys, they never learned any philosophy, anything, and they were just absorbed completely in the kirtan. So this gives this makes the purpose of Prabhupada, what Prabhupada is writing again and again every time, that we don't need the study of Vedas and mental speculation for loving God. We need a pure devotional service, pure loving service only.
When in the last visit to Vrindavan, we went to Garuda Govind temple, which is near Chetikara, like a few kilometers from the Vrindavan.
Yes, Prabhuji.
It is so nice. We used to go for the Aarti time, and when the Aarti was happening, Until then, we don't see much gathering. But as soon as the arati is going to start in 2 minutes, they know how. I don't know how they. No? They all come and they very, 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 very seriously, they really admire the Lord in their prayers with so much affection. They call out in the arati time. Yeah, it's very, very nice. And after that, during this time, there is also the prasadam. There is also one can offer. And the darshan, yeah, that was really nice. We used to go. I mean, we didn't go only one day. We went next day also, or the next day. Yeah, like that we went to have darshan, because there is also Nija Rupa darshan of the Lord. Yeah, at 8:30 during the evening aarti time, only for 5 minutes.
Which darshan, Guruji? Can you repeat again?
The Nija Rupa darshan without the deity dressing.
Okay.
So it's so nice, and yeah, when you are telling this, I can feel that how in the villages of Vrindavan, Maya, in Mathura, such
Yes.
adherent worship of the deities is so nice.
Yes, Chatikra village. I know, Prabhu. We are like we were visiting that village in the childhood.
Yeah.
So it's in the same community of villages. From our village. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I mean, I really love. We could continue talking and talking, and the day will finish. But I think we have also time factor, and we'll have to close it here. Thank you so much for coming, joining, and let's meet again and understand what is this pure devotional service. Yeah, from chapter 12 later. वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। प्रभुपाद की जय, नंदकोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.